Now I'm just going to go over the rest of the buttons on this camera on the outside. First is this little wheel here. You can see you've got all your scene settings for macro, sports, and whatnot. Pretty easy, don't really need to explain those. The effects here is where you can use all those different effect filters for video and photography. Then you've got your more professional settings here. The manual, aperture priority, shutter priority, and then program priority right there. And then each of those performs a different function manually. Manual, of course, is in full manual in terms of aperture and shutter speed. In aperture priority, you can only control the aperture and not the shutter speed. And then for shutter priority, same situation, you control the shutter speed. And then P, the camera will automatically pick a shutter speed and aperture for you, but you will have more control on the camera than, say, one of these scene modes over here. The most useful for me is aperture priority for most action things, and then manual for landscape and still life. And then up here we got a movie button here. That's actually brand new. You press that and you can record your movies once the camera's in live view. Here's your EV. This is how you change the EV if you're using aperture priority. Basically, you press that, shows the info on the back of the screen, and then you got your live view switch, which is kind of new over here, and then you just pull that back like so. The camera's almost out of battery, so it's not going to show you, sadly, but you pull that back, it takes you immediately into live view, and then from there, you can press the movie record button and make a movie or take a picture from there. And then, of course, this I button right here, this allows you to change. Fudge. God damn it. Are you okay? Then you can see there's also this button up here, and what that does is it takes you to your screen as well, but if you press it a second time, it allows you to change things along the side here. The quality, white balance, ISO, continuous or single frame shooting, your autofocus, what type of area mode you have, your metering, active de-lighting, auto bracketing, your set picture controls, exposure compensation, and then flash compensation. To be honest, I would probably just go to this instead of going into the menu, because this seems to have all the basic functions that you really need right here, and it's pretty easy to get to. Now, I already talked to you about the AEL, AFL button. In the custom settings, you can set this to have a certain function, mostly autofocus functions. And then here's your play button. All that does is it shows you your pictures, as you can see here. And then here's your zoom in. Allows you to zoom in all the way, and then you can zoom out with this one as well. This is also a question mark button, so if you're going through and you see a setting like this, for example, that has a question mark, you can press this and it'll tell you what it does. And then you got your trash button here. And those are pretty much the basic features of the Nikon D5100. There are, of course, many things that you can do with those features, and the possibilities and combinations of features are really endless. And that's where the art of photography really comes in, is knowing your camera well enough to where you can look at a scene that you're taking a picture of and know what settings you're going to use to get the best shot possible. Well, and this has been a user guide to the Nikon D5100 digital SLR.